Good morning. Happy Wednesday. I hope you're having a great week. I hope it's a positive back to school time if that's something that affects you. And I'll be praying for you and your students and your teachers and administrators and whoever else is affected by the back to school stuff, because that affects everybody, doesn't it? When I was in school for my undergrad at Heritage Christian University, which is a wonderful place, check that out. I was required to do Christian service. I was required to report Christian service activities, which meant that every time I did something, I could log it in. If I wrote cards to somebody, if I visited people that were sick or bereaved, if I taught a Bible class. And the reason for that is because they would compile that and they would give a report, like, this is how many Bible studies were conducted this week from our Heritage students. This is how many baptisms there were. And it's good to see. It's positive, right? And it helped me, not because it's all works, but it helped me to see that a lot of times your works do reflect your faith. And even though at that time, it started off as being like, okay, I've got to do this because I've got to log in my hours. It ended up being that I did it just because it was the right thing. And that I didn't have to worry about logging in hours anymore long after school. But I'm still doing those things because they're just good practices. It's just right and it's just good. And I wonder how many times that we're just like logging in or we're just like punching that clock. But then all of a sudden we realize, wait a second. This is good. This is a good practice. It's kind of like when we're young and we're having to teach our kids to take baths and brush their teeth, and they don't love doing that, right? But then they get in middle school and high school and they kind of understand that this is good because I'll have really bad breath or I'll have really gross teeth if I don't do this. And I think a lot of times spirituality is like that. We're punching the clock, we're doing that, but then when we start seeing what God has done for us, when we start realizing we're not worthy of any of this, what does Isaiah say? That our righteousness is like filthy rags? When we understand how good God is, anything that we can do for him becomes a joy and becomes a pleasure. So I understand there's different phases to things, right? And if you're in the phase where you're still feeling like you're kind of punching the clock with good works, I understand that. But really start looking around and start thinking about and logging all those things that God has done for you. Make you a little tick list of things that God has done in your life to help you. And it will change your attitude about doing good things. You guys have a great week and know that you're loved.